Welcome back to the third volume of Let's Get Deeper, where we sit for an hour or so and get deep, really. And this volume is basically a recap of what happened in 2019. I'm Josh, and with me I have got Anastasia.
That's me.
The long-fabled legend of the podcast. Actually, no. That's a lie. Jamer is the long-fabled legend of the podcast. How have you been this year?
Yep.
So for listeners who may have been listening for a while, you will know that 2018...
Does it only appear once every 6 months?
You will know that 2018 wasn't exactly the best year that Anastasia may have had.
Yo, what a shit year.
What a shit year. But 2019, from what I've heard, seems to have been a lot better, right?
Yeah, it should have been good.
Second year. Get all the... Well,
it's just been a long fucking year.
Yeah. In many ways, it has been a very long year. Because you did how many productions?
It depends what you mean by the word production.
Okay. How...
Because there's... my year started with an event that we had to put on.
This was the reunion, right?
No, so in week 1, we were given an assignment day 1, and by a Monday. And by the Friday, there is a show that we have to put on. And that is to welcome new students.
Oh.
So that was a motherfucking nightmare.
Yeah, 4 days, 3.5 days even to
and not
get all of this.
You'll know that this assignment's coming, so you all come up with creative ideas and stuff. But our mentor on it, I guess is what you'd call her, overseer, was a fucking bitch. I was partnered with a guy who is super passive, most passive person, and I had never seen him get so angry. He was ready to slap a bitch.
Oh my god.
So I was like, So that's how the year started. Then what happened? Then I did a show called Love, which I now have a tattoo because of.
Oh, this is the carp reference?
Yeah. One of the best experiences I've ever had working on a show. The team was absolutely fantastic. I just had a great time. And then... Then what happened? And then we put on a magic show, which was really cool because it's high production magic show. The dude that was the magic consultant on Harry Potter worked with us on our magic tricks.
Oh.
And he is a fucking crazy man, and he's so cool.
Because he obviously taught you stuff, right?
Yeah, oh my god. It was just... Because we had classes in magic. In magic history, in magic practice. It was really, really cool.
Lucky.
And I was really lucky to stage manage it, which is something I've always wanted to do. And then I was the head electrician on the graduation showcase for the stage and screen students. And then I stage managed a production of Marasad, which was another fucking nightmare. It was a cast of 13, 2 directors. The set was double layered and was completely climbable and a safety nightmare. And then I just finished working on an opera called Pagliacci, and that rounds out my year of productions. So that was like 6, 7, I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't counting either, but
I think I slept somewhere in between. I will say that like those last 3 overlapped with each other, so I haven't had a break.
I've seen
since June.
Mate. Because for some reason, I follow someone that recently got into your university. And yeah, I saw like several things like literally happen one after the other. Like several productions. I think you put it on group chat not too long ago about like how you had to tear down the set, the stage, and then set up for a different production within like what, 40 minutes?
Oh yeah, so the opera that I worked on, we were working in rep, so in repertoire, which means you have one venue, you have 3 shows. The shows are 40 minutes each, and you have 20 minutes in between each show.
Dear Lord.
And that means you have to change over the set, and you have to load and unload audience within 20 minutes. And it is, when you have designers that don't want to design for rep, it's really hard because you literally have to, because the first set was a TV studio which had a very complicated video system and these massive red cables that ran through it that if they were split they would kill somebody. Plus a huge LED screen that was so heavy and a stage that you had to build like a puzzle piece. That all had to be ripped out. And then the next set was like 3-4 meter tall flats and this giant red curtain, which was okay-ish. And then the show after that was just like a paper textured curtain, which was super delicate, with 6 4-meter long bits of tree that were rigged from the roof. And yeah, so you start at 7 p.m, show finishes at 7:40. It takes about 10 minutes for the audience to leave. You change over as fast as you can. We got the first one down to 20 minutes, I think, which means then the house doesn't open until 8:10, which means the audience take another 10 minutes to come in, which means you actually start the show at 8:20.
Yep.
And then that show goes for 40 minutes.
Yep.
Which means then it's 9 o'clock, and you've got to wait another 10 minutes for the audience to leave. Then you have another, I think the next one only took us 10 minutes. So we were only starting 20 minutes late for the third show. And then that show was only like 20 minutes long in and of itself.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, we were done by like 9:45 to then put the first show back in.
Yep. Oh dear. That does not, like, for me as someone like looking in, that does not sound fun. To do that under like such time pressure.
Yeah. Look, I actually enjoyed it for the most part because I did the same thing last year. Like it's a thing that happens.
It's across different year levels.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like an idiot, I volunteered for this one. Last year I wasn't. Like it was. You
kind of had to, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but last year the sets were so dangerous in putting them up that people got like severely injured. So this year it was a nice change to be like, oh, no one's gonna die if they try to put this set up.
Oh, good, good. So for 2019,
it was overall a good time.
Yeah, it seems like it. I guess what else can we sort of talk about? Maybe talk about how do I put this? Mental health. because that has been a recurring sort of thing for not only you, because Bin has also been through this journey as well. And having, I guess, tracking 2018, how challenging it was, and then 2018 was also the year I met you in person.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, that was a time, wasn't it?
It was like 12 months ago. No, it was
13
16, 13?
13. I went down in like late October.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So yeah, well, when this drops, it's probably going to be at least 16 months ago. But how would you say that journey has been for you this year?
Yeah, well, it definitely got worse before it got better.
Oh, group chat was a time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really relied on you guys to help get me through that. That was, what was that? That was February, March.
Yeah.
That was a rough time for me mental health-wise. But yeah, the last 10 months, really been working on trying not to output negativity, which I found myself doing a lot in that January to March sort of era. Yeah, and I'm a better person for it. I feel better about it. So, yeah, no, mental health wise, I've really actually gotten so much better. Yeah, just, yeah, like, having an outward look on it. Because there was a moment in about February, March where I went, okay, so these people are being mean to me, but they were really close friends. And I feel like we were really similar, so then I questioned myself, am I outputting that sort of same negativity? And I stepped back from those people and went, oh, I was actually not a good person. I was, like, bordering bullying verbally and stuff. And you just don't really notice those things when you're caught up in a clique or a group. And I really had to have somebody else tell me. And just knowing that that person was such a good friend, that they could tell me, you need to stop doing these things are hurting people. Then I actually understood what I was doing. And then, yeah, that put me on my path of growth and positivity and blah, 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 blah. And then Love, the show that I worked on in June, really, really helped because the experience was so positive that I could do nothing but be positive along with it. Like, all of the people were so positive, so I got a tattoo to remind me that there are people that will support you and help you be positive. And that there is a reason I do what I do. And it's because I love it. Not because, I don't know, I'm just floating and loathe the time that I have. Like, so yeah, it's just been a growth from there on.
That's good though, because at the end of the day, like, what I guess it's kind of a running theme that we started on the podcast is, don't be the penetrable orifice. You know, just like, as much as you can, try to be a better person. And this is like, we're jumping into like good place territory. Try to be a better person every day. Like, and I think having a you know, someone else outside of what you do day to day whether that be, a friend or a group of friends, or, for people that are attached to your significant other, your partner, to call you out on all that toxic shit that you may not realize is what you're putting out into the world. Because that's not God. We don't.
No. And if you see them, be the friend that calls them out.
Please.
Like I was completely in denial. I didn't actually see what I was doing, and I needed somebody else to tell me.
Mm.
And it was for the betterment of people around me, and it was for the betterment of my own mental health. Because although I thought I was doing well, I was actually damaging myself.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you just need that one person to be like, "You're fucking trash. Stop it." Please.
Please. Oh, goodness me. And yeah, I think I'm gonna kind of put my professional hat on here. Is that
I just want to hop in. I feel like your professional hat is a beret. So
a beret? I don't
know. Or is it like a golf hat? Like a page boy hat, maybe?
Like in Newsies.
Like a Newsies hat?
Maybe. But see, then we get into weird, grandpa hat territory.
I love a grandpa hat.
Fair enough.
I'm a big fan of a grandpa hat.
I have yet to see you in one.
I wear page boy hats a fair bit, so
Okay, fair enough. I guess, sure, whatever hat you imagine me to have. Top
it's
hat?
On.
It's on.
Wide-brimmed fedora. Sorry,
no,
that's Brandon.
No. Brandon doing a milady. No, I'm sorry. A gay guy doing milady is just a bit too... What even is that? What even is a gay guy doing...
A milady.
A milady.
It's terrifying. It's really a terrifying thought.
Okay, back to
anyway.
Me putting on my proverbial professional hat. It is a good thing to have that sort of, very honest and very, at times, brutal support network, because not everyone can access mental health, which is mental health professionals, which is unfortunate, even in this country where we tend to fare better than others, but having a truly supportive network of people that will call you out on your shit, that will be there when you need them most, if they are able to do that as well, because people carry their own luggage with them, and sometimes it's hard to take on additional stuff or share the burden, but having that is a good preventative way, I think, to stop yourself from spiraling further. A lot of the stuff is maintain good relationships, people. Just as much as you can, maintain good relationships. But if the people around you are toxic assholes, you better cut them out of your life. So yeah, I'm going to take my professional hat off, and set it aside. So, we did this last year, but I'm going to reword this question, I guess. Were there any productions that you went to see in 2019?
So many. I mean, I went to Adelaide in...
You went for Fringe, didn't you?
Yeah. So the Fringe and the festival, which one coinciding with each other, it's overlapping a little bit. So we go in the middle where they overlap. And I saw 40 shows in 10 days.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Real rough on the psyche.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine like 40 shows in 10 days. So that's roughly, let's do the
with a
math.
day off in the middle.
Oh,
So that technically
so that's like
it's,
up to 5 shows a day.
yeah.
Jesus.
It would often be like 6 shows a day, like 6 short shows, and then the next day would be like 3 2-3 hour shows. It was a lot. The scheduling was a nightmare.
I can imagine, and I do not envy you. Like, if it was 40 shows in 40 days, maybe I would be, or even 40 in 20, but not 40 shows in 9 days, because that's just too much.
It's a lot. But, like, I don't regret it, because we saw some of the highest caliber of work and some really, really bad stuff too.
Oh.
Like some pretty awful fucking shit. But like there are some shows that stick with you and you remember forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember it's Adelaide in the middle of February or March. I can't remember what month I actually went in. So it's fucking hot.
Yes.
It's like 35 degrees every day. The fringe is set up so it's tents. Like this fucking hot tents. You're sitting on bales of hay. But like this girl did a monologue about like being raped, and it was one of the most beautiful things ever when you're stuck in a fucking tent in the middle of a, like it's like 3 p.m. like yeah. But then we also saw stuff like Counting and Cracking, which I think is one of the best pieces of theatre I have ever seen. But it was part of the festival. So the Fringe is like anybody can apply to the Fringe. Sort of not low end, but like a low budget sort of stuff. And then the festival is very high profile, has a lot of money behind it. So Counting and Cracking was developed in a co-production with Belvoir, who are a Sydney-based theatre company, and it followed. I don't want to get it wrong. Hold on, I want to look up the because it follows it's an immigration story. And it's very, very beautifully told. I can't spell. So the book was written by S. Shakthitharan, and it's about Sri Lanka, and it's it does this weird like time lapsey thing across the 4 generations of this family, and it starts with the like sun set in it's set in like western suburbs Sydney, and then like it travels back in time to during the war against the Tamils, and I want to get up the actual thing.
If it's Sri Lanka, it tends to be Tamil and Buddhist.
Yeah. And it was like travels back into that war, like that wartime, with the mother and the father of this kid, and just travels back and forth, and like the cast was huge. It was something like almost 20 Sri Lankan or like Sri Lankan descent actors, and they had taken 8 years to find these actors, and
that is like commitment.
It is, and it was incredible because one of my tutors, who is he like teaches the Shakespeare course at UCID or something.
Okay.
But he was like one of the dramaturgs or something on the show, and he said the level of commitment that these people had to this show was absolutely unreal. Like, the show's been in development for like 8 years. And it was it was so beautiful, and like it is something I will hold forever. And it was 3 hours. The show went for 3 hours.
Wait, okay. And were there intermissions?
There was an intermission.
Okay.
But I wish there hadn't been, and I wish the show had gone on for 3 more hours.
Oh my God.
It's just one of those pieces of art that you go, I need more. Mm-hmm. It was so outstanding.
So what I'm hearing is SBS needs to take this and run with it and have like a proper like Sri Lankan
they
full
need
Sri
to
Lankan.
help put it on tour, because if you film any part of it you lose it, because what made that so special was so they did 2 seasons. They did a season in Sydney in the town hall, where they converted Sydney Town Hall, which is a very white European building, and made it a Sri Lankan town hall.
Fucking reclamation.
Oh my God, it's so... But they transformed it into this Sri Lankan community town hall and passed out food, like traditional Sri Lankan dishes.
Ooh.
And the smell was incredible, and it made you feel homely. I literally wrote a whole essay on like the different types of practice that they used to get this sort of sense of feeling from audience members. Even down to like how the seating bank was shaped, which was in a U shape. So the stage came out, it was a thrust stage, and the cast walks down the stairs like beside you, and it was just like this incredible experience that if you like, it'd be outstanding to get a series about this family and their journey on Australian television, but it's a piece of theatre that just needs to keep touring. And sadly, it isn't. It had a couple of weeks in Sydney, and I had a couple of weeks in Adelaide, and that's it. There are no plans to push it further, and
oh, that sucks.
It really sucks.
Because, like, definitely I can see this here at
like
some of...
It won 8 Helpmans. Like...
Really?
I think it beat Harry Potter.
Holy shit. Wow, that is... okay. And, like, I think that's, like, the really hard trade-off for, theatre productions is when do you, like, if it's, if you're not beholden to funding, and honestly, like, at the moment, Australian theatre is not in a great place in terms of funding.
What do you mean? They didn't just axe the arts department?
What?
Fuck you, ScoMo.
Fucking hell. But, like, sometimes, like, it's really hard to try and move these productions, but honestly, like, and I think we'll get onto this maybe, but like, some of these productions, if they're really good, we'd really like to see it elsewhere, but sometimes it's just hard to convince production, like, theatres around Australia to
take on was something that is so specific as well, and I think, like, you can't do that with another cast.
No. You try replacing them with other cast members, and I think people will be very, very vocal about that. Like, because it's such a unique story. It's something that we need to see brought into community, and it's something that I think this year I have grown to appreciate. I've really, really grown to appreciate the value of theatre as a whole, in terms of, like, truly bring a different perspective onto what can be a a story that you may see in other pieces of media, because inherently theater is different. It's a more intimate experience. But yeah, that one I would have, I think, had it come to Brisbane, I definitely would have probably
I would
seen
have
it.
forced you to go and see it.
You would have been, bitch, go watch this.
I tried to tell Olivia and Brandon to go and see it while it was in Adelaide, but Brandon wasn't. I think Brandon was in the UK.
You think?
So, well, I don't know if he came back by the end of the season.
No.
But I don't think so. No, he was there. Beginning of the year is a blur.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it was just so good.
Oh, bless.
I'm trying to think, like, I've seen so much this year. But, like, my brain, what did I see?
Okay, so let's go through this, because we both watched this. Book of Mormon.
Was that this year? That was this year. Oh my god. Well, technically, I saw it in Melbourne last year, and then I saw it in Sydney twice this year. It in
Sydney twice this year. But I think the cast may have changed between. Did it?
So there was the original Sydney cast, and then there was a different cast for the first bit at Adelaide, and then the original Sydney cast came back. No. What?
Huh?
No, my brain. Melbourne.
Your brain is... okay.
No, hold on, my brain. There was the original Melbourne cast.
Yes, the one with AJ.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I saw the second cast. And then the original Melbourne cast came to Sydney. There we go.
Aha.
And then I think they all fucked off again.
They came up here.
Yeah, and then they went to Brisbane.
Yeah. And then they did... Did they go to Adelaide then Perth?
That's usually
how it goes. And then they're coming back. By the time this drops, they are back in Brisbane. Apparently because this very conservative state loves Book of Mormon. I don't know why.
It's all those bogans, man.
Yeah, that's true. Racist fucks. A lot of them.
A lot of them.
But that production is amazing. Like, it is... How will I put this? It is so much more than what I expected it to be. Because having only listened, like, or watched, like, you know, random clips from people that have taken videos in when they go watch Book of Mormon, but also listening to the soundtrack, it is such a different experience, and it is wild. It is wild, truly wild. So, would you say the same?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, given you watched it 3 fucking times.
Yeah, well, like, I got to go backstage and watch a show from backstage, which is...
Oh, that would be...
It's really cool, but it certainly demystified a lot of stuff.
I would imagine.
But yeah, it's one of those shows that just... You can completely carbon copy from its original production. Mm-hmm. And it's just... it's just still at such a high caliber,
yes,
of performance and technically sound sort of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think the funnier part for me is I took along a friend of mine. We're not foreshadowing this in any way, and well, you know, if you have listened to previous volumes of this show, maybe you will know. But they dragged me, but I already known about Book of Mormon. They had no idea what it was. So it's me, both enjoying the show, but also explaining some of like the subtext of some of the stuff that goes on, and I'm like, I can finally talk to someone about this. Oh my god. Just hearing what is this? Just hearing that line from which song is it? Hasadiga Iboai.
Yep.
That line. There's one line in there that kills me dead every time. But listening to that live is just like, oh my god. The power that comes with that line is just like, yes.
I can't imagine being an actor in that show, to just have the power to completely just like gobsmack people with some
I love it.
ridiculous
But also
lines.
And like some parts of this show, you know, they ad-lib for the shits and giggles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like, it's amazing. What other shows? What other shows were there that you have vague memories of?
God, like, you remember the okay things, and you remember the bad things. Like, okay, so Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is a hot mess.
I heard that you went to this.
Is that really bad?
That's a musical?
Yeah, like the music is fine.
It's just everything around that.
Like, I assume the Broadway production was better, but the Australian touring production was a pile of hot trash. The video content looked like it could be made by a fucking 12-year-old. The Willy Wonka couldn't even hit the notes in pure imagination. Like,
oh, that's depressing.
Like he sang it like a key down. I was like, yeah, no, and it was just like, yeah, no, it was just not good. It was bad. Bad.
That's disappointing. It's very disappointing.
We both saw Puffs in our respective cities.
Yes. Also, no foreshadowing at all.
No foreshadowing. Foreshadows 8 times in an episode.
Yes. But how many times did you watch it in Sydney?
I only saw it once.
Because you're a sane person.
I couldn't afford it.
Because you are a sane person.
No, because I got my ticket for free and then couldn't afford to go again.
Oof, mate.
I would have gone again.
That is true. I was the I will say yes. I was the truly insane person. Going once to watch it at the preview show before it premiered, and then I watched it again, and I got the cheap, like Badger Rush, cheap ass tickets, and then I watched it in its final Australian show, and that was an emotional experience. Aww. But before we get to that, how fucking good,
man. Just like, what a good piece of theatre that somebody managed to capitalize off of
the Harry Potter universe.
Harry Potter universe.
Yes.
It's so good.
It's so good, but also, how fucking attractive are the cast members?
Yeah. The girl that plays Harry.
Olivia.
Yeah.
Oh my! We'll get to that.
And the guy that plays Cedric.
Cedric, right? The main reason, like, Cedric gets a call out, like James Briars, is holy fuck. It's just, you know, it's one thing to be very confident, but also an entirely different thing to be very confident while standing in front of an audience, basically naked, for like a hot, 5 minutes. But the show is also very gay.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very gay.
Harry Potter was queer, it would have been way more better.
Harry Potter was the pioneer YA queer film series that we needed. Now it's canon. Sorry, JK, you can't take it back now.
It's too late.
It's a bit too late. But yeah, Puffs. In how would you describe it?
Well, it's just chaotic good.
Mm-hmm. It's not a hot mess.
It's like an organized hot mess.
It's an organized hot mess. Yes, I will agree. But then and the end, like the last act is like, wow, thank you for stomping on my feelings, because good lord. And
big stompy shoes.
Oh dear me. Your favorite part of, like, your favorite bit from that?
I saw it so long ago. I'm trying to think. Oh my god. I don't know, just like the night that we went, they knew that we were coming as a group of youth from NIDA. So there's one specific bit that they where one of the characters ad-libs to the crowd, and they called us out.
Oh, are we talking about Jay Finch?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Zach.
Is it
Zach? Fuck. What is his last name? Because he says it. I should know this. Zach Smith. There we go.
Yeah, it was just like yeah, he made jokes about like acting courses.
Oh, that is.
He was like, yeah, well, I spent 3 years and like, look where I am now on this stage in a tent.
Oh, God bless. That bit is glorious, because it is pure ad-lib. Like, they had, like, the other actors on stage have some idea of what's going on, but they do not know what's coming out of his mouth. There was, oh my god, preview, there was a very, there was some sort of, there was a Shannon Knoll bit that Daniel tried to do that broke us and the cast on stage. We had, the second time, that was September. I should remember this. Something about AFL. Wait, I think so. And then the final show was similar to what the American production did, is where Zach Smith does like a quiz of all the different ad-lib stuff that he'd done on every single show.
Yeah.
Which was wild. And we also, was that also, no. Wait, I have to remember. Oh, that's right. Second show, he looked out into the audience, and tried to spot he'd spotted someone definitely under 13. And I was like, how old is he? And I think the parents said 9.
Oh my god.
And then Daniel broke character. I was like, you're not interested in one of the matinee shows? I was like, well, if you want to prepare your child for the perils of high school and swearing, maybe this is it's just, oh my god, amazing. I guess, yeah, now I'll get to talk to you specifically about what happened in the final show. So what happened was, I didn't know until maybe the day of that it was going to be the final ever show. I thought it was going to be, it's the final, like, Brizzy.
Yeah.
show. I did not know it was going to be the final ever in Australia for the current time being. So we started late. And keep in mind, this was a 6:30, I think. We started at 5:30. Well, it was supposed to start at 5:30. We started closer to 6. And then we got to the Zach Smith ad-lib bit where we started howling for like a solid half hour because it was the quiz. And then, yeah, we finished close to like 8 o'clock.
Oh my god.
No, actually 8:15, I think. Because holy shit, like, you could see that, like, for to break the curtain, I was sitting in, so at Powerhouse they have 2 rows that are classified as pit. So you're sitting below stage. So I was in the 2nd row in pit. And you could see when we get to the part of, in the 3rd act, when they do the I am a Hufflepuff and I'm staying, people broke.
Aww.
Like, emotionally. So I'm like, oh my god, I can't. And you could see people, like, starting to cry. And then we did the epilogue, and we closed. We had like I think it was like almost like a 5-minute like ovation. And then they all went backstage, but you could hear them shout 3rd or nothing really loudly. And I'm like, oh my god, please, my heart. I also forgot, with the Zach Smith bit, right? You know how there's a, like, I think it's a scene or a scene and a half afterwards where Snape is doing the sex ed scene?
Yeah.
Almost every single show. Yes, no. At every show that I went to, we broke Snape. Because our laughter continued, and we were just like, this is too ridiculous. And we definitely broke him in the final show, because, God, to see, like, what was it? Was it a wand and an inflatable donut stand in as male and female genitalia, respectively? And in that accent and the way that he does it is just like dead gag. But now let's flash forward back. After that, I managed to meet Olivia, who played Harry Potter, as well as Lauren, so the chick who played Leanne, and Helga Hufflepuff.
Oh yeah.
Yes, her. Oh my goodness. Olivia is a goddamn blessing. They all are, but having interacted with her is just like, oh my god, queen, fucking queen. So yeah, that was an experience, and I would say definitely worth every single dollar that I paid, because you can't buy genuine, like, howling laughter, because that's something you need to see in person. So it really does suck that we don't, they're not continuing production, but that's kind of life, and
yeah,
they've all gone on to do, like, amazing things. So props to everyone on the cast for sticking it out and doing it for that long.
Yeah, bless them.
Bless God, bless.
God bless.
What else?
So there was a show that I saw in Adelaide that I saw that was coming back to, it was coming to Sydney for the Sydney Fringe. And it's a show called Orpheus. which is this beautiful, beautiful story based off Orpheus and Eurydice. And it's told by two guys. They're English. One dude narrates it, and then one dude plays guitar and sings songs that interlude. And that is it. Like, it is these two guys. One holds a guitar and the other holds his notebook, and you just sit. Like in Adelaide, we were outside under like fairy lanes, and then in Sydney we were just in like a room, like that was part of like the fringe sort of like areas, but like something. It was just so beautiful. Like, it was one of those things that I went, we need to go and see that again, because it was so touching, it was so moving, and like, it was just these two guys that just told a story. They did a follow-up show. Well, they wrote a follow-up show called Eurydice, which was the same thing but with two women. And instead of playing guitar, which she did also do, but she mainly used this like electronic music thing that just like played beats and stuff, and it was so beautiful, and it was like from this perspective of like the other side, obviously. And they're about to do another follow-up show it's first going to the Perth Fringe, and then it's going to Adelaide Fringe next year. And I am so fucking excited for it, because it's just something, a piece of theatre that is so simple, has no gimmicks to it, but was easily one of the best things I've ever seen.
Yep.
That was beautiful, and I recommend anybody that can ever see those shows to go and see them. Yeah. And then another show that I saw in Adelaide was by a group of women called the Fringe Wives Club. And they are this fantastic group of, some of them are queer women that just like go off cabaret feminism.
Okay.
And it is fucking ridiculous, the shit that they do. But one of the women that was part of the group does a lot of stuff in Sydney. She was the musical director on Once, that Darling House Theatre Company did this year. Once is a musical. Do you know Once?
I don't think I do.
There's a movie, but the song "Falling Slowly" is from it. Yeah. That show starred Tobey Maguire and not Tobey Maguire, not Spider-Man.
Which one?
Hold on. Toby Francis. Sorry, Toby Francis and Steph Kakamo, and it had the woman from Fringe Wives Club, Victoria Falconer. And holy shit, is that an amazing show? Like, Victoria Falconer is one of the most amazing women. She played the Saw. Like, what?
Wait, hold up. I just processed that. Did you say she played the Saw?
The Saw. So she started playing the violin, then she played... So she played the violin, she played guitar, she played the melodica, and then she played the saw, all in that one show. She also plays theremin.
What?
She is an amazing woman. I think she's also the musical director on Amelie, which is happening at the Darling House Theatre Company sometime next year. I can't remember. But yeah, fucking cool woman. I missed them at Sydney Fringe, but yeah. Once was fantastic. Yeah. So much theatre.
So much theatre.
So much.
What I'm going to bring this one up because you were talking about like a thrust stage and like how actors can interact with audience or like move through the audience. There was another very hideously gay musical that I went and watched called Yank. No foreshadowing.
No innuendos at all.
No innuendo at all. Set in the 40s, in the middle of World War II, where it's one closeted gay guy trying to navigate in his platoon of fairly straight men.
I love the word platoon.
Why is that?
It's a good word.
Okay, fair
good
enough.
Word.
And then he falls in love with one of the other guys who seems to be bi, or another closeted gay person.
Seems to be.
And navigating that in that era, and then we're going like it's essentially like a play that is done through flashbacks. So at the very beginning is sort of like an introduction. We're in the current day, and then it flashes back, and the majority of the play takes place in the 40s, and then we move into like post-war, and then at the very end is the flash forward to present day once again. And oh my god, it is super emotional, as you can imagine. But also, can I just say how difficult it is to I think this is a unique challenge, like finding guys that will harmonize really well. And they found like a whole bunch of guys that could harmonize really well. I'm just like, fuck me dead. And I'm fairly sure I can say this. All of the men that they cast were all gay. Represent. But they had Naomi Price as the only female character in that musical. So that was amazing to see live. And you know, I think that was a one-off for Brisbane's Melt Festival, which is like the queer festival that we have in June. So like, Nate. But yes, it was like in another theater at Powerhouse where it's a thrust stage, and they had actors walk through the audience and cross the seats that were in pit and to hop onto main stage. So that was a very interesting experience, I guess. But yeah, so many good musicals.
So many bad ones too.
And so many bad ones too, I can imagine.
Oh god, I was going to bring one up that I was like, why did I see that? That was awful. Oh, no, not a musical. Sydney Theatre Company, STC, as they are lovingly known, did a production of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, which had oh my god, I've forgotten her name. She was in the Australian Book of Mormon cast. It also had hold on. I can never remember people's fucking names. Okay, so I'm a big fan of Tennessee Williams plays, and I really like the play Cat on a Haunted Roof. But this show starred a cast of Zara Newman, who is incredible. She played Nabalongi in Book of Mormon. She is astounding. But she played opposite Hugo Weaving, who...
Oh, wait.
I think...
Okay.
Who I think is actually... not a good actor.
Ooh.
I don't think Sydney Theatre Company can get rid of him because he's been in like the last 3 shows that they've done.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I just think he's quite weak against Zara Newman, who is incredible. And it was directed by Kip Williams, who I think very lowly of. He is what we like to call a lazy director. And Sydney Theatre Company, which is one of those companies that is like prestigious and relies on the benefits of the older audience of Sydney and
yes,
theatrical. And it was just not good. But Sydney Theatre Company also did, and Captain Hot Tub River was at the big venue, at the Rosenbacher Theatre. They did another show that was in the Drama Theatre, I think at the Opera House, so it's one of the smaller theatres, called Banging Denmark.
What?
Yeah. But the sad thing about that is that we all walked away going, I can't believe STC developed that. Because it was it was too good and too relevant.
Yep.
To be something that type of theatre company develops.
Yes.
Banging Denmark was so good. It was just like a fucking feminist rage show, but in a good way. Yeah. I don't know. So much theatre.
So much theatre, so little time to talk about it. I guess the last question I have for you before we start wrapping up is there anything in 2020... Wait, so 2020... Do you graduate in 2020? No.
I finished the year, but I don't technically graduate until the next year.
Okay.
The ceremony is 2021.
2021.
But I am the class of 2020.
Yeah. So you're kind of in a... Yeah. So like Olivia, because she technically finished 2018, but she had her grad for some reason in the middle of this year.
Yeah.
Or in April, if I recall correctly. But yeah. So yeah, anything that... Wow, we have a lot of graduating people next year. Because there's me, there's Brandon, and I'm pretty sure Jamer is also graduating. Wait, well, we'll see. I can't remember. He hasn't been on literally forever, so we might need to ask him for shadowing.
Or have we already asked him?
Jesus.
But
yeah. But yeah, look, what are you looking forward most to next year? 2020, that is.
I don't know. See what happens. Just
hopefully better mental health.
Yeah.
Again, we're improving. Keep improving, I guess.
Yeah. No, I'm really looking forward to getting away from the institution and working properly. Yeah, really having time to actually go and see more shows as well.
Yeah.
Not working 6-day weeks as well as schoolwork.
Yeah.
Just having some time to ourselves to breathe.
Yeah.
I
mean, and I think that's a good way of looking at it. As I say, if you set your bar low, and I mean this in a positive interpretation of this, set your goals reasonable, and everything else will just be a bonus.
Yeah.
Because if you start at the basis of I want to have better mental health in 2020, then everything can just be, a bonus jumping off of on that. So yeah.
Yeah. Gonna go get drunk for New Year's and then figure out what my
Jesus Christ.
Then figure out what my resolutions will be.
That'll be fun.
Go falling off a roof.
Oh God.
That was I'm last waiting. Year. Or this year, technically.
Yes. Yes, technically. But we'll start wrapping up now. So,
like a present.
Anastasia, yes, like a present,
Like
a Christmas present.
Like a Christmas present.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on all the things that matter at Anastasia Moen.
Sweet. And if people want to come find me, just go listen to literally any other episode. If you want to come follow the podcast, we are both on Twitter and Instagram as Great Mates Podcast. Sub to this show, Let's Get Deeper, wherever you're listening to us, and then go sub to our 2 other shows that are up and running at the moment, Spoilers for Days and our main show, Great Mates Podcast. If you want to, leave us a rating and review, but also share us to your friends. We've done a lot of like musical talk, so I think when this comes out, maybe we'll just, tag like our favorite theater people.
Spread.
Just spread the knowledge that this like particular episode exists, and then the benefits will go from there.
I'm just
right?
Start shouting out names now.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that.
I already have. I've said so many names.
I literally said people from Puffs, so this is going to be like very easy.
Just tag Puffs in its entirety.
Just tag Puffs to play. God bless. But again, Anastasia, thank you for doing this again. Another year.
I just want you to know that in response to your thank you, I threw up a peace sign in, like, just a response. It was a guttural.
It was a Pavlovian response.
Yeah.
God. Oh God. The funniest part is there's no webcam.
Absolutely
and we're not
not
in the same room, people. Let's break that illusion. Oh my goodness. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you on another episode. Bye.
Thanks, y'all. Bye, bitch.